the Honorable Defense Minister of Russia, General Sergei Shoigu, distinguished moderator, my fellow defense minister, distinguished participants in international security. First of all, on behalf of myself and Indonesian delegation, allow me to convey my highest appreciation for the warm, friendly welcome from the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation. I would like also to thank the organizer who once again invited me to speak at the second session of the 5th conference with the theme of addressing security issue and in terms of terrorism as a global threat. This theme is very relevant, and at the same time, it is very useful to be discussed seriously since the terrorism has been factual and our common threat to the world peace and security. Ladies and gentlemen, the issue that have been globalization so far as democratization, human rights, environment, energy scarcity, the world financial crisis, and global warming are still in the warm debate and become the world attention. However, in recent years, the emerging new global issue in the shape of factual threat are worrying that force us to think and work hard to find common perception and collective action to mitigate them. On the occasion of the last conference, on the 4th conference of MCIS, and in various meetings with partner countries, I always mention that the geopolitical and geostrategic global will create new challenges and more complex for the nation. The challenges then evolve into a new form of threats that is very dynamic and multidimensional, both physical and non-physical in the shape. They may arise from within or the outside country, such as terrorism and radicalism. The second one is separatism and armed rebellion. The third one is natural and environment disaster. And the fourth one is violation of border area. The sixth one is the piracy and the theft of natural resources, pandemic disease, biological and chemical, and drug trafficking and drugs abuse. And the eighth one is the cyber war and intelligence. What we are witnessing that these threats have largely become factual and are experienced by countries around the world. The domestic scale of the threat is to be addressed by countries that experience. However, the regional and global scale of threats require a collective effort and response and action to address through collaboration, capabilities, and interaction between countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the factual threat that I would like to describe in line with the theme today is about terrorism, particularly on ISIS, that has been a global issue and become a concern of the nation around the world. As we know that ISIS has become the new global terrorism force that is more terrifying than Al-Qaeda network. ISIS has become dangerous because of the threat not only the countries in the Middle East, but the entire world. As we witness the Paris attack and Brussels, and including in Lahore, Pakistan quite recently. Indonesia also was not immune from terrorist attack, which also attacked Indonesia in Jakarta by January 2016. ISIS has been implementing 3 approaches to develop the strength and carry out their action, namely recruit citizens of a country to go to Syria and Iraq. ISIS fighters were returned to their respective country as foreign fighters, and they inspire the citizens of the country or inspired independently, which are then affiliated with ISIS through social media, and also they have like the Lone Ranger, and they have the affiliated with ISIS network. As we know, the ISIS background, it was originally a national militia forces in Iraq that arose due to political conflict in the country after Saddam Hussein's fall. Nevertheless, due to the policies and post-conflict government management were not accomplished, the Iraqi fighters emerged as a transnational terrorism force that is more frightening, especially in other countries. What makes ISIS become a global movement and draws sympathy from many countries is that they have wrapped up their political struggles with ideological motivation in a broad sense, and with the justification as a religions and ideological. But what they focus on is about the justification of religion. But there is other justification because of the economical background. They try to seek identity, and because of the suffering. Therefore, and that any fighting on behalf of religion is not right. It is a lie. Therefore, we must make a serious step up and how to eradicate this ISIS group. We appreciate the Russian government in tackling the ISIS in the country and in Syria. It is like a right action. It is a concrete action. Russian military operation in Syria had caused a significant blow and destruction of ISIS logistic and financial support. This effort can weaken the central gravity of ISIS. This endeavor is also aligned with my proposal and suggestion during my remark at the Shangri-La Dialogue Forum in Singapore last year, whereas the key solution to weaken and eradicate the ISIS capability are by interdicting its logistic and financial, such as their oil capability. Distinguished defense ministers, ladies and gentlemen, everybody should know that it has to be coming our attention that Indonesia, the country that has a Muslim population of more than 200 million people, is potentially become the target of ISIS radicalism influence, especially from the ISIS group. Based on the one survey conducted on last September last year, it reveals that 96.3% of Indonesian has a strong position to reject ISIS ideology. They hate ISIS. However, there are still about 3.5 people responded by no sufficient comment. We don't know their position, and they don't answer this question. Although this is quite relieving, but we have to be cautious that the people that has not any answer, because if we count that figures, out of the 3.5 million, 3.5% is about already 7 million. That is something that we have to put special attention. I hope that the 7 million, it is only because we don't have any data about them, and I really hope that it is not because they are becoming the sympathizer of ISIS. I think that it is one of the priority and attention of the Defense Minister of Indonesia. I may say that the largest threat of ISIS would not be bare only to the physical destruction that ISIS caused. I pay a close attention to the ideology propaganda that the group made. The threat to the ideology is more dangerous than the damage of infrastructure. If we let this happen negligently, they can grow to become bigger. That's something that we have to put attention, and especially in Indonesia. especially with my capacity as the Minister of Defense. The propaganda and with the provocation and violence is very dangerous, and they're targeting the community as well as professional to change their nationalism ideology, in which they're aiming to disintegrate the unity of Indonesia and also to disrupt the ideology of Indonesia. We feel so fortunate to have a soft power aspect and asset to face the threat of terrorism. Indonesia is well known as the moderate Muslim country. We live side by side harmoniously in the community with other religions, and we also have national asset to tackle any radicalism, especially from the terrorist group, such as what we call it the awareness of defending the state or spirit of patriotism. The essence of this is the unity and integrity of Indonesia based on our values, national values. And beside that, in ASEAN, we also live peacefully among ASEAN member states. We support and help each other in find solution, including the issue of terrorism, radicalism, and ISIS. The awareness of state defense or spirit of patriotism is not only for the counter-terrorism that, as I mentioned earlier, but it has also we use it as a soft weapon to face the non-physical threat that may have the potential to disintegrate our nation. We realized that those threats would become a soft power to change our nationalism mindset as well as our national identity. So in this regard, we are, as the Indonesian nation, we're focus more on the condition of Indonesian Muslim, so they are not easily influenced by radicalism. Almost every day, I keep propagating through Islamic teaching, through emphasizing to all the people, so they are not easily to be influenced by this radicals group. I thankfully, at this moment, they keep starting to understand. The obligation listed by the United Nations mandated that every country to have anti-terrorism law, as well as to establish the committee and discussion forum. In my views, all this instrument is only like a guidance for every country how to eradicate terrorism. But the most important one and most effective one is the national effort of the country to find and to eradicate and solve the root cause of terrorism and radicalism, because every country have its own problem. The keyword is how to change the mindset of the radical group through the spirit of nationalism and patriotism to love the nation. Actually, this is that I would like focus on in my focus, and it bear fruit and it's significant. Some radicals group in Indonesia, they already aware that they are in the false situation, and some of the group, they start to skeptical about radicals ideology. There will be the creation of the condition, and every country, they could swat and spare for the world peace. They could also prevent the use of weapon and conduct of training for the intention on war or to destruct humankind. We should enlarge our similarity and commonalities and to decrease our differences, and we support side by side how to secure and for the prosperity for humankind with the spirit of solidarity to create common destiny and how to our destiny for peace and prosperity. Thank you so much.